What if we look at our minions? What do we see?
I don't know.
They're all full health. So when our minions are all full health, she can put her full attention on you and just get a reset going.
Yeah, I was trying to hold it there.
Why did you try to do that? Feel free to limit test. And if you die, we die. It is what it is. She used her W and her Q. She's fucked here. Move up, move up, move up. She has no abilities. Does that make sense? Quick rule. No R equals no fight. Okay?
And then another thing I feel like happens quite a bit is I kind of fall off in farm at some point. I really try and focus on that in the beginning and seem to have some success, but eventually it kind of dissipates as the game progresses. So kind of finding ways to continue building gold and XP,
Yep.
I think is going to be huge, and making some more impact on team fights. I've been implementing what we went over last week. I feel like it translates regardless of what champion you're playing in regards to being early and like being first to the neutral objectives and
It does.
that sort of getting vision and whatnot in side lanes. I feel like that went a little bit better, but I'm sure you'll see what I'm talking about throughout the VOD here.
Since this is the first Akali review that we're doing,
Mhm.
we're also going to do a little bit more of a general review in which that I'm not going to hyper focus on one specific point of the game, but I'm just going to give you small tips for all the major stuff that I'm seeing here in the game. And at the end of the review, what the goal is of this review is for me to just understand your general level of Akali gameplay. In the coming week, I'll give you a few standard tips for you to work on. What we're also then going to try to do is see where your main weakness lies. And then I want you to be focusing mainly on that point.
Sounds good to me.
Akali versus Ahri, what was your initial plan here in this matchup?
Try and keep the wave in the middle of the lane.
Mm-hmm.
So that way she's just not shoving me under and roaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to get too deep because there's not so much. It's not so easy to get away, especially once she has ult.
Yep.
She could charm me, whatever. So just trying to keep it neutral. So if need be, I could drop Shroud. Kind of out of the situation. Also, there was a Sylas jungle. So, definitely some potential to get ganked at certain points in time. So I was trying to, get the electrocute rock and kind of taking some damage there and waiting until that comes back up. And then poking with dropping Shroud behind me and kind of Eing forward and then Eing back to the Shroud. So just kind of keeping it short trades. I'm not blaming my team or something, but at a certain point, I kind of lost it in the sense that I just tilted off the face of the earth towards the end of it because the game felt out of control. So I felt it was a good example to go over because obviously we're going to run into situations like this and just trying to make the best of that kind of situation.
Very good. And what do you think your general strengths and weaknesses are on Akali?
My micro is not bad. I hadn't played her a whole lot up until this last week, so kind of refreshing things a bit. So I've just been getting into like practice tool and whatnot, trying to go over some more of those. So it comes kind of instantaneously versus having to think too much. If I get a lead, I mean, there's certain games where I'll, obviously have a lot more of an impact. But some micro for now. I mean, you tell me what you think. There's a lot to work on though.
This here is this quick cast with indicator.
Yep.
Okay. So I think it's okay to have quick cast with indicator on, but I think it's better to have it off. I'm not sure how attached you are to this.
Not really. I mean, like certain players, like or champions rather, that I've played, like say Darius or whatever, I turn it off because it's quicker, and I have a relatively good idea of the range and whatnot. Yeah, I feel like I could adapt.
In my opinion, turn it off on every champ. Don't ever turn it on. And the reason for that is because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the abilities become a feeling. So whenever we press an ability, we feel it. I don't want you to see it. I want you to feel it whenever you throw out an ability. Because if we start looking at the indicator, it's going to take that small bit of extra time. And especially the higher elos that we're eventually going to be going, it's just not going to be quick enough. So one thing that I think you're doing quite good is I think we take a beautiful trade right here. And I think it's also great if we actually just let this wave come in a little bit more. I think this Q, the idea of this Q is good to thin it out, but I think we're slightly over thinning it out right now.
Okay.
So feel free to just let it slightly come more towards your side. and then start thinning a little bit more. If the wave stacks up around this area, this is the perfect place for the wave to be. And then the casters around here. So have them move slightly deeper, okay? All right, we get some decent trades.
I tried to E, but I didn't realize that the minion still wasn't gonna die there. So I didn't get it off on her.
That's all right. Doesn't have to be perfect. One little tip as well, right? Is whenever you're playing Akali, we play Second Wind D Shield. Second Wind and D Shield skill with effectiveness based upon how low you are.
Okay.
So the timing of when you want to be using your potion is as late as possible, because the lower we are, the more value we're going to be getting from these runes.
Okay, cool.
So to get very specific, what is the time that we need to pop our potion? That's when we actually get into kill range threat. Okay. So versus Ahri, kill range threat would be about this HP. Okay. If we ever get at this HP, that's when we want to pop the potion.
Yeah, makes sense. I think I get a little bit nervous, so I use it too early, and just like, oh fuck, here we go.
That's all right, man. We learn from it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get the Silas Flash. Pretty fantastic job. Let's play off our next W. So this one was a little bit, as you can see, this one was a little bit too hard to just get right here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also see why that's the case?
No.
Okay.
No.
Let's try to look at this from Ahri POV. What does Ahri see? What is Ahri looking
I'm gonna come up to the last hit this minion. She's got a wave advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna be more mobile because I just used all of my abilities.
Okay. And what else? What if we look at our minions? What do we see?
I don't know.
They're all full health.
Right. Okay.
So when our minions are all full health, she can put her full attention on you.
Fair
if
enough.
These would be low, and in last hit range, just like this one, she needs to make a decision between hitting you or killing the creeps.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's actually pretty easy to just walk up and snatch it, because she's probably focused on last hitting the creeps.
Makes sense. Okay.
Very good. So always try to not only look at the enemy minions, try to also incorporate your own minions. But that's pretty hard to do. I don't expect you to do that just yet. It's just...
Well,
it
makes sense, because sometimes this happens, right? And I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm getting not necessarily all in, but I'm taking way more damage than I would have necessarily thought. But like you nicely explained there, I mean, I can understand why now. But it's something I just overlook, right?
Beautiful. Okay, so she's a little bit lower on mana, so feel free to trade onto her here.
Okay.
We spot the Silas on top. We got our W back up. Usually trading in lane with Akali is all about the timing of her W. So feel free to step up aggressively and get a trade going here.
Okay. I should have tried to get the minions maybe with her there.
Exactly. So right here, and then Q that.
Mm-hmm.
Spot on. And I'm going to give you another little tip. I think in our trading patterns, we're sometimes using our W a little bit too early.
Okay.
So what I would want you to do a little bit more precise is I want you to position yourself in Q range first, land the Q, and after we land the Q, that's when we W.
Get maximum energy advantage, I guess.
It's not necessarily about the energy, because we get extra bonus energy. It's more about the range of the W. If we press our W right here, the circle is going to come right here. So we get more room to chase down the Ahri and go for the next auto tech Q to also proc the electrocute. So we can extend the trade just slightly to the perfect amount of time. A little bit rushed on the W. You definitely seem a bit scared.
I think I'm not used to being so low, like health like that, and I feel like as you mentioned, like I'm in kill range kind of thing. Like if I fuck up, then she's gonna take me out. So I think maybe being a little bit more confident with, or being okay with the fact that the health is a little bit lower and it'll regen faster.
Yep. Especially when we're going to be playing Akali, we got to be comfortable playing on low health.
Okay.
We just got to get used to it. Okay? And I want you to just, in your next few games, just try to practice that a little bit more. Just feel free to limit test. And if you die, we die. It is what it is. And then I want you to specifically understand why we die. So we're playing versus Ari in this case, level 4 Ari. Ari is not known for her early game strength.
Mhm.
So if she wants to kill you, she can probably only do it from like 300 HP max. So with her queuing you, which she has 2 points in, by the way, where is the rest of her damage going to come from to kill you right here?
From charm, I guess, and then the W.
Exactly. Is that enough? By far not. She can deal with the charm and W max 150 damage. So her Q is where all of her damage comes from as Ari. That's where the points that that's where she puts the points in. So if we dodge out on the Q, we live. So what happens right here is she uses her W and her Q. She's fucked here. Move up, move up, move up. She has no abilities. Does that make sense?
For sure.
Okay.
Should have gone in.
Yep. It's important to recognize what we're looking for, though, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but if we go to Ari, we can actually see what her cooldowns are. So if we look at her Q, it's a 7-second cooldown. If we look at her W, it's a 9-second cooldown. If we look at the E, it's a 12-second cooldown. She just used everything. Q into charm. We know that we got about 5 seconds right now where she can only auto attack us. So this is currently our space for the next 5 seconds.
Makes sense.
Very good. Nice. Very nice that you don't flash here. Very good stuff. Really nice poise. Very good reset as well. Very nice job, dude. I would always TP here. Any specific reason why we're not teleporting? What's going through your mind?
I didn't recognize the fact that Ari also has TP.
Hmm.
So I thought that I had some time while she was down to get back without quote unquote wasting it. But I understand why you would say just to go for it.
Why do you think that's the case?
Well, she's mostly to match her TP.
So if I'm playing Akali here, my mindset here is, okay, we just got to kill on Ari. I want to get as many minions and experience as possible to extend my lead on top of her. If I TP right now, whether she TPs or not, I'm going to be getting all of this XP. Right? And that's what really counts. What we can do is, if we use our TP right now, our next TP comes up by the time where it gets empowered. So in the lane, just use your TP if you can get like 3 or 4 minions extra for it.
Okay.
It's worth Q into E. We get her ult. Very nice job. And we just collect the rest of the wave. When her ult's down, she's dead.
Okay. So this is where I greeted at some point coming up here pretty soon, I think. Yeah, I missed.
Okay. So if we look at this situation again, right?
So I ran out of, just to give you an idea of where my head was at, when I E'd backwards here.
Yep.
I didn't realize my energy was so low, which led to my ultimate demise.
I can see that. That's good. I love this. This is an amazing learning. I love that you just be aggressive and do this. So let's break down how could we have actually done this. Okay. So I think this initial trade was fantastic. And whenever Ari uses her R, that's when I want you to instantly go back. Because her R is, it's just, she's out with her R. That's just the reality of the situation. But that's good. If we can get her ult, that's her safety net in the lane. So what I would specifically do is, okay, we got her R. Beautiful. Let's just go back to the wave. And then I'd wait out her R. Wait. She's got one more charge. Wait longer. And when that last charge is gone, that's when I would try to ult her. So if we have a little
then she's not as mobile, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
She's practically dead if we wait for her. She has no mobility. The only thing she has is flash, and that's not enough to escape from our double R. So you did everything perfectly, but we slightly rushed the play.
Okay.
Okay, good attempt. I respect it. That's the stuff I like to see. I like to see aggression on this champ. We gotta show some balls on this champ. If we play like bitches on this champ, we'll never succeed.
That's, I guess, what I like about it too. Is like it's just fun. You know,
really fun.
Like when you pull it off, I'm like, oh fuck yeah. You know, exactly. It's rewarding. Yeah.
Okay, pretty good trade. We actually take it. We missed the Q, but it's a good attempt. We got no Shroud, so we got to be a little bit careful. Let's get a ward out right here. Awesome. We do some warding on the bot side. Pretty decent ward. A little bit better ward would be right here.
Okay.
Just on this ledge right here, because that shows also a little bit of this entrance, plus it shows the river.
Okay, cool.
We just cover more ground with it. I think from this point, what's going through your mind?
Probably hover towards bot and just continue trying to farm. I don't think I had a full-on like game plan, if I'm being honest.
Okay. But what does Akali want to do specifically from this point in the game?
I would say look to roam. That would be where my head's at. But against an Ahri, it's probably pretty tough.
It's not necessarily that we're specifically looking for a roam. We're rather more looking for a skirmish with R. So if it's a roam, it's a roam. If it's a neutral objective, it's a neutral objective. It's a 2v2 with jungle, it's a 2v2 with jungle. We're all happy just to take it.
Okay, cool.
And this is also the point where I think what you can do is you can be a little bit more aggressive on the wave. And you can actually try to harass her a little bit deeper as well. Just continuously play with your W and try to look for high value Qs through the minions on top of her.
Okay, cool.
And the final tip versus Ahri is try to stand outside of the minion wave, so she has to make a decision between hitting the wave and hitting you. You can do some pushing. We need to reset right here. So I would actually push this wave and just get a reset going.
Yeah, I was trying to hold it there.
Why did you try to do that?
Well, so she backed. So I was thinking try and hold it to try and kill as much of my wave as possible. It seemed like it was thinning it out on my side pretty quickly. So I thought she would lose more than if I were to shove it. But I mean, if I look at the minions spawning, there's none like happening right now. So I feel like I could get it in a relatively short period of time before the next wave came.
Exactly.
So I can see, yeah, where you're coming from.
And we need to reset as well, because we got no potions. We got quite a bit of gold. So we want to take a reset ourselves as well. And if we hold, we get stuck in lane, as you can see. Now the trades become very hard, because we're so low. Okay, so we take the reset. So one little tip is when you're building Lich Bane, never ever build Sheen. That item is worthless. So try to get the other two first, the alternator into the Adder Wisp, and then go for the Lich Bane. Never go Sheen.
Okay. I just naturally see it like being a higher value component, so I just automatically build it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I think this is the point, right, where we can actually be a little bit more aggressive and just continuously play with our W. So just try to get a little bit more in range first, and then look for QW out attack Qs. To be very specific, I either want you to stand here, or I want you to stand there. Outside of the wave, she needs to start pushing, and then I want you to move at her when this cannon is dropping low. Or right now when she's used her Q, feel free to be a little bit more aggressive in the lane. This is it. This was beautiful. Look at what she's done. Q gone. So we got, remember, it was 7 seconds cooldown. This is where all of our damage comes from. So when her Q is gone, we now got 6 more seconds that we are in full control of the trades here. So Q gone. Q, easy. Very good Q. QW, great. Move up, out attack Q, proc-collector Q, get her to this low, and then just back off, because then her Q is starting to come back up again.
Right.
So we're on the right track here. It's just a few more things that we need to polish up. Okay. So let's take a look here. It seems like we clear the mid wave. We decide to move bot. And we walk into Lux. Okay. So in a position like this, always start with R1.
Okay.
The reason why you always want to start with R1 is because you then prime yourself for the R2. Because the R2, you have 10 more seconds before the R2 cost runs out. So if you use the R1, you're already in a position where you can always then follow up with the R2 whenever you want. So always start with R1. and try to combine the R1 with Q. So R1 into insta Q. That's a very nice combo because the Q is instant because you can animation cancel it.
Okay, cool.
Practice this in practice tool.
Sure.
R1 into Q.
So as I'm going in for the R, like R1, Q at the same time.
Yeah, so at the end of the R1, that's when I want you to Q. And I want you
Okay.
to make it flow in one animation.
Okay. I'll play around with it a bit.
Yeah, if we try it in practice tool, we got it probably within 5 minutes. We got it under control. If we would have done that combo, this would have been a clean kill onto Lux without us dying.
So my game plan there, I was gonna flash out of the turret range, but then I got rooted, right? So that I wasn't thinking about that possibility.
Right. Makes sense. Okay. It also applies to the R2 right here. What we can do is instantly R2Q in one animation. So at the end of the R2, if we Q, we instantly get the Q damage as well.
Right.
So the R, you can combine it with Q for smoother animation cancels.
Okay. If that happened, she probably would have died earlier and not even gotten the root.
Correct. So we're dropping a lot of experience on mid, which is a little bit of the downside here. And we see some stuff happening. So this is a bit awkward because we got no ult. And we are very ult reliant on Akali. So we drop a lot of experience again. Quick rule, no R equals no fight, okay? So to be specific, if we have no R, just ping everything off. Just catch the wave, catch the next wave. Just slow the game down for 50 more seconds until we have R again.
So no point going bot here. It felt like a huge waste of time.
Yep.
Fair. Just shot myself up.
That's all right. Right. So
for a ride.
Are you starting to understand why certain stuff happens?
Yes, definitely.
Because that's the goal of this session. Like, we're just trying to make you understand the why, so you can start seeing it yourself as well. Okay.
Very sad when I missed that E.
All right. I don't mind the attempt. So let's look at this play through a micro and a macro perspective. All right.
Sure.
So micro-wise, it's a little bit unfortunate that we missed the second Q and that we missed the E. If we would have landed that, we probably could have done a little bit more into this Ahri. Would we have killed her? I'm not sure, because she's actually really strong. If we look at it from a macro lens, look at her items. She's got Malignance. She's got a full component. We don't have that yet.
Right.
We're behind. So we got to be a little bit careful when we're behind, because she can just stat check us. Tryndamere gets the double kill into the Nocturne. The game is going to get really hard now, because we're behind. The Tryndamere is gonna be able to stat check us. We're losing a lot of minion waves as well. We're sacrificing a lot of experience and farm by some of our roams that we're doing.
Yeah, I felt like I was starting to like bleed out, you know?
That's right. We are. Okay, let's go into the side lane. We cannot really defend this. It's good that you respect. Tryndamere messes us up. He's got two full items.
Right here, I watched this back last night, and so after looking at it again, I should have focused my attention on the wave and just cleared the wave out, so that way he was taking tower aggro instead of trying to like do no damage to him, right? So yeah, right there I felt very helpless in that situation.
And it makes sense, because if we realistically look at the situation, we're an Akali without a full completed item, and we're playing versus a Tryndamere with 2 fully completed items and 2 levels up. We are completely helpless.
Right.
We're like a baby looking at Mike Tyson boxing you, looking you down here. Yeah, from this game, from this point, the game is just out of control here. Like, it's just fully out of control.
Right.
So how do we win this game? I don't know. I can't tell you.
You probably just don't.
We don't. I've
Yeah.
if this would be my own fault, I would look at it and I would say, all right, so no one in our team is matched to deal with the Tryndamere right now. Like everyone just gets blasted by him. We got very little hard CC. We are a little bit behind as well.
Hmm.
And that makes it just very hard to win this game.
Right.
So what I would then do is I would end my own review here and recognize, okay, from this point it doesn't make sense looking forward because winning the end from this point is just incredibly hard. But that's completely fine because I think we got some very good pointers here in the review that we already have.
Yeah, the beginning of the game didn't feel like so bad.
It wasn't.
It was kind of mid game where I started to feel like, you know, I was trying to go and help other lanes or situations,
Mm-hmm.
and it just put me further behind in experiencing gold, and
Correct.
we didn't really make much of an impact. So trying to figure out if there was a way to possibly have done things differently to help
Mm-hmm.
my teammates ever catch up, but it could be a circumstance where it was just kind of too little, too late.
Yes, I think so. Because whenever we start sacrificing stuff from our own resource panel and we don't get the other lanes like significantly ahead, as Akali, we're just going to be useless. If we
Mhm.
cannot 1v1 someone in the side lane, what is our champion going to do? There's a few things I want you to focus on specifically. Number one is I want you to prioritize yourself. That means that in the early game, feel free to use TP for yourself. That means that if there's a play happening, I want you to always look at, okay, how does my wave look before I go for a play? I don't want you to just be randomly giving up creeps. It's very important that we try to get access to as many creeps as possible, gold wise, so last hit wise, but more importantly, XP wise. So in the lane, when it comes to our trading, one thing that I want you to specifically put more attention to is I want you to look more at enemy cooldowns. In this specific case, what we can learn from this game is, okay, where does Ari's damage come from? Well, it's mainly her Q in the early lane. If she uses her Q, we can just look on the wiki. 7 seconds cooldown. We got a window in the lane that we can now take control. So for the next games that you're gonna play, I want you to start investigating what champion you're playing against and what cooldowns each ability have. Do you know how each mid lane champion works? Just at a high level.
All all of them, no.
Okay.
A good amount, but not all of them. So that's definitely something I can work on.
So if I say, for example, Zinra, do you know what her abilities do?
Syndra? Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's got the Q, then the W to throw the minions, and then the
Yep.
E to stun. Right?
Beautiful. So if we're going to be playing versus Zinra, right? Zinra is actually one of the easiest champions to face if you know how to do it.
Okay.
So what we see here, okay, Zinra's main ability Q is Dark Sphere. 7 seconds cooldown. It's good to know, because this is where our main damage is going to be coming from in the lane. This W, 12 seconds cooldown. Wow, that's rather long, actually.
Hmm.
12 seconds. And if we look at her E, 17 seconds cooldown.
Wow.
If she ever uses her E in the lane, what happens is we can just walk up at her and fuck her up.
Okay, cool.
So most likely, if you're struggling versus Zinra, you're getting hit with the E, and you don't know what the cooldown is, so we're not walking up aggressively and pressuring her when this is
Well,
off cooldown.
I just walk back, right? Like I'm like, oh shit, and just
Yes,
kind of run and hide basically.
exactly.
Yeah. I didn't
Exactly.
realize it was 17 seconds. I played her like once or twice, just kind of fucking around.
Uh-huh.
But I even then I didn't pay attention to the cooldowns. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay.
So I want you to just, whenever you play up and queue up a game, just look at the wiki, and I want you to just look at the cooldown. And whenever you see that ability thrown out, just make a note of it in game. And maybe if you find an opportunity, feel free to abuse that cooldown and start trading. That's just going to already help you massively. But it's going to take a little bit of time to get this in your system. Okay, so the most important thing is that you just do it consistently each matchup that you do. And if you, for example, play against Ari 3 times this week, you're going to get 3 times the amount of practice when it comes to the cooldown, and you're going to get slowly a better understanding of how the champion works.
One of my good buddies, like he plays too. He always comes over. So I was like, we would play. like norms are ranked together, and it's
Hmm.
kind of it's not as good as an experience just A in a duo queue, and B it kind of feels redundant. So I was like, why don't we just play different matchups like in practice tool in mid lane,
Hmm.
and kind of get an idea of how each ability works. Do you think that would be something that's worth doing?
Is he about the same level as you?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. If he's about the same level as you, that's great.
Okay.
You
I
can
didn't know if
definitely do that.
there's something better that we could be doing. So just to try and learn like what each champ is up to, as I don't want to say quickly, but yeah, as quickly as possible.
Yes, exactly. And don't try to do all the champs at once. Just take it one by one.
Okay.
Because
And get a really good understanding.
exactly,
Okay, cool.
exactly. So that's the cooldowns thing. Um, the third thing I want you to practice is the R into Q combo. R into Q combo, and this also works with R2 into Q. You can animation cancel that. You can make it look smooth. You can make it look clean,
Okay.
and it goes much quicker. The final tip I want to give for you is no R, no fight. So mainly work on the cooldown stuff, mainly work on the R usage stuff, and just give this a crack. All right?
Okay.
Give this a go. And this is the first step. Akali is a hard as fuck champion, dude. We're gonna need to take many steps with this champion, and we're gonna just slowly chip away at small points of your gameplay.
Sure. Sounds good.
Awesome. This was a really good
At
thought to
least,
bring.
yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it. I know like the end game wasn't, there wasn't a whole lot after a certain point, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that there was enough that we could get some good learning out of it.
100%. Definitely.
All
Do
right,
you have
man.
any
Well,
other
I will work.
questions?
No, I think like for now, like you said, it's the first review for this champion and scenario. So
Mm-hmm.
we've got some stuff to work on for the week, and then yeah, next week we'll go over some more stuff.
Awesome.